Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. Got a quick video for you guys on a Wednesday, and with it being the autumn statement, we're going to look at any changes that will affect us UK investors that use ISAs. Obviously, ISAs are an absolute amazing thing for us UK investors, as it really does help us not pay tax on our investments when we make a lot of good money and we keep that money in our back pocket. So it's something really important to us. It's one of the most generous kind of investing object that we have in the UK, and we want to make sure that that's still available for us. And we'll look at any changes today that came up in the autumn statement around ISAs. Now, originally when the statement was actually done at Parliament, there was no mention of the actual ISA until you actually went on the autumn statement. When you went on the autumn statement, which was 120 pages long that I read for you guys, there was kind of a big point here around personal tax and savings. I'll kind of show you the two key things that were really important for us investors. So the first thing is around the limits. So we've been looking at the limits for a while, and there's been a few things saying that the ISAs are going to get scrapped, maybe they bring the ISAs down, and there's also a few people saying that the ISAs are actually going to go up. Personally, for me, I think the ISA limit should go up sometime soon. They normally go up every couple of years, and we haven't seen an increase in the ISA limit for a very long time. And obviously, as you know, with everything kind of going up and inflation going up, you would hope that there's some increase in the amount that we can put into the ISAs. That didn't happen. It stayed exactly the same, 20,000. So ultimately, I'm not too disappointed by it, because I still think that is a very generous amount. As long as it's not going down, I think this is still generous. In the coming few years, I would still like to see it upped at some point, but I think at the end of the day, it's good news that it didn't go down, and it's still quite a generous amount. So for you guys that were looking at what potentially the limit could be, it still is going to stick around 20,000. Now, the big thing that this has been the massive talking point in the last kind of couple of months is around fractional shares. So you may have seen there's a lot of noise around fractional shares. You might have seen one of the biggest UK content creators actually saying that fractional shares are going to get scrapped, and obviously he was doing that from a point of view of trying to cause fear and panic and create views for himself, so he makes a little bit more of that with his view account. This is something I always said, I can't see them getting rid of it, but we'll see what happened. And what happened, they basically confirmed that fractional shares look like they're going to be remaining. So once again, obviously there's a few people out there trying to cause a bit of panic, because obviously they want them viewing figures, obviously. So yeah, obviously it's good to see the ISA amounts not change that much. From a fractional shares point of view, I think this is really good. If you're more of an established investor, you probably don't really use fractional shares a lot, but then again, you do every so often get a share like Mercado Libre, for example, which is a share that I'm buying, and you end up paying, I can't remember what exactly that is now, it's something like $1,400, $1,500. So to be fair, buying some Mercado Libre shares sometimes can be a little bit expensive, so maybe that is actually one that it comes in a little bit of use for. So you still might use that actually even if you're using quite big amounts, because buying a $1,400, $500 share over time isn't cheap. But certainly for new investors obviously really do like using fractional shares as well, and helps massively. So yeah, the fact that ISAs look like they're going to be allowing fractional shares still is obviously a really big positive. It said here, the really strange thing that I saw is that it said ISAs allowing certain fractional shares. Now there was what I'm showing you, there was no more details on what that means. I'm just looking around where they say they're going to engage with stakeholders on implementation. I think there's going to be maybe some certain stocks that might not fall in the categories 1 or 2. I don't think it will be a major issue what it means by certain, but it looks like more than likely we won't see that many changes. So yeah, overall that was good news. So I think from a ISA point of view, yeah, it was not really that much change, but it was good change, or good news I'd say, because there wasn't that much change anyway. So yeah, all relatively okay news for ISA investors. Two other things that I want to point out today is crude oil. Crude oil actually had a dip today. It's had a little bit of a recovery though. There's been delays on the production, and they were going to limit the amount of production for oil. Obviously, we want to see oil stay really cheap, because we want that to stay low so inflation does come down. So it did start recovering up a little bit at the moment, but it's still down 1.62%. But what that does mean is that oil is staying in that nice range through the month of November. And you can see here, entered at around $82, and we do sit around 70, well today's $76, and that's compared to the run that we had up in through September, where it did start touching $90 a barrel. So this is really good news from an oil point of view, and also from a company's point of view, and also from an inflation point of view. That the oil situation does seem to be holding steady at the moment, which is obviously really good. And the last one I wanted to point out is a individual stock, Hims and Hers. I mean, absolutely rolling today. I think it's something to do with an upgrade. It was Bank of someone, I forgot which one it was. I think it maybe posted something positive about it was a stock, one of the stocks they kind of recommend as a stock that is potentially buy, and the stock shot up 7% on that. I think realistically it's only going to send up 7% because people are going, that's a little bit too low for Hims and Hers. And we said, like, I would be very disappointed if it closes below $8 this year, and it's already above $8. I mean, realistically, I would like to see it go to back up to double dollars or double figures, not dollars, for the year. I think that'll be a lot better. So good to see that Hims and Hers is finally starting to have that little bit more of a rebound. And to think, really, since the end of October, in 22 days, the stock is up 40%. So, yeah, anyone that had another nibble at Hims when it was having that drop in share price, well done to you guys. It's kind of really been a funny year for Hims. Like, we entered the year, $5, $6, we go up over 100%, and then we have a big major pullback, and now we're rattling back up again. It just shows you, like, you look at, if you actually look at the financials of the company, there's not been that volatility in the financials. Like, the financials have been steadily improving, but yet the share price can go like that. And it just shows you sometimes with the individual stock market, you've got to really have some thick skin to put up with some of the moves that you have in the stock market. These individual stocks can really bounce around, but yet fundamentally there's not that much change in the company. Imagine your house price moving that much, it wouldn't happen. But that's individual stocks for you. I guess sometimes when you are buying these individual stocks, I guess Hims and Hers is a prime example of sometimes you got to be a little bit tough to buy some of these individual stocks, because something like this that has done amazing can have that much volatility in it, which is absolutely crazy. But hey, we got another opportunity to buy this back down at $6, which we'll take, and obviously has been really plowing on. I guess it also points to the point of view where I made that DraftKings video yesterday and saying, like, you want to take some profit off the table maybe because, you don't know what next couple of months have. The market suddenly might go, oh, let's sell that off 40%. And you're like, oh, I wish I took some profit. Hims and Hers was a perfect stock that I remember I sold at, 10% off at, $12. And I was like, I don't really want to sell, but it's just gone up so much, I've got to take some profit off the table. And as the stock went lower and lower, I was able to, buy that stake back in, and even more, because I made money on it. And it just shows you, sometimes that's the great thing about taking, maybe a little bit of profit off the table when some of these stocks do go on these sort of rallies anyway. So anyway, that's the video for today, guys. A little bit of a short one. I've not got too long to record a video. I've got tons of work to do, so apologies for that. But thought I'd update you with some of the ISA changes, oil prices, and an individual stock there. So I hope that video is a little bit useful, and apologies for being a little bit shorter. But thanks for watching, guys. See you in a bit.